Come on in, guys. Welcome to Idled Out, where we talk all things Survivor. My name is Luke, and today we're talking about Episode 4 of Survivor Winners at War. Another great episode in the can, another great immunity challenge, and even the Edge of Extinction is delivering. I know, I don't believe it either. There's a lot to unpack in this episode, so I want to talk about my top 5 immediate takeaways from Episode 4 of Winners at War. Rather than a full episode recap, I'll be highlighting 5 things from this episode I think we should be talking about. That might be specific characters, or moves, or moments, or just general things I noticed about the episode. So, you know, spoiler warning for Episode 4. That said, let's dig in. My 5th takeaway from this episode is that no one should be shocked that Sandra is playing the revenge game again. This has been her MO since Pearl Islands. Of course, Sandra went after Tyson this episode after he threw her name out, and this one's on Tyson. Dude should know his Survivor history better. Sandra is a lot like Boston Rob. If you come at the Queen, you best not miss. After Rupert was voted out in Pearl Islands, she spent the rest of the game trying to get Johnny Fairplay and Burton out. And in Heroes vs. Villains, I shouldn't even have to tell you who she spent 25 days going after. Same thing in Game Changers, where her and Tony disagreed early on, and she railroaded her entire tribe into voting him out in a dismal 19th place finish. So Tyson, you should know you can't just throw Sandra's name out there and expect to get away with it. My 4th takeaway this episode is that Adam continues to be the most compelling character this season, and that is extremely shocking. Honestly, Adam is easily the person I was least interested in coming into this season, but 4 episodes deep and I'm hanging on every word he says. I love watching Adam this season because he's so clearly fighting all these internal feelings of paranoia, doubt, even insecurity, and they manifest themselves in him overplaying his hand wildly. And yet, he has the game savvy to know when he screws up, and can articulate that perfectly in confessionals. And on top of all that, when he's not speaking about the game in a super knowledgeable way, he's delivering these amazing and touching confessionals about his late mother. God, how did Adam become my favorite player this season? My 3rd takeaway from this episode is that Nick's stray vote on Kim was a great play and shows why Nick is one of the best voting strategists and numbers guys in a long time. Nick, in his original season, David vs. Goliath, was the architect of the minority vote split, which resulted in the epic blindside of John Morrison, which finally allowed the David underdogs to get a foothold in the game. What Nick did here wasn't as incredible since, you know, Tyson didn't play an idol and ultimately it wasn't necessary, but it was a great insurance policy against an idol play if he had one. Of course, I have to mention that Nick could have easily blindsided himself in the same manner that his Survivor idol Tyson did in Heroes vs. Villains if he didn't know exactly where all the votes were going. But I suppose sometimes the line between a great move and a terrible one is razor thin. My number 2 takeaway from this episode is that DeCall unequivocally made the right call voting out Tyson, but, you know, I'm still sad. Look, this season just got a whole lot less hilarious. It's clear that voting out Tyson is in pretty much everyone's best interest, except, well, Tyson and maybe Kim. Even Sandra, Tony, and Sarah come out ahead in this deal, in my opinion, because with the impending swap, the entire tribe needs to go in tightly aligned, or at the very least, with the illusion of being tightly aligned. And the chance of Tyson, already on the outs, flipping to his real-life friend Boston Rob is just too high. Tyson did have a good point about hiding behind him as a big threat, but with Boston Rob and Parvati still in the game and on the other tribe, there are still plenty of big threats for Tony, Sandra, and Sarah to hide behind, and they're on the opposition to boot. So good on DeCall for getting Tyson out, but yeah, I'm gonna be sad about it. Finally, my top takeaway this episode is that the Edge of Extinction challenge was so emotionally compelling, and that this must be what Jeff wanted out of the Edge when he said he wanted to push the limits of the human spirit. It's amazing how Survivor was able to wring so much emotion out of such a simple challenge. Climb stairs, grab wood, climb downstairs, drop wood, repeat times 20. And yet, here we are crying as Ethan pushes himself as hard as he can, motivating himself by drawing parallels to his cancer treatment. Or watching Natalie, who has been an unstoppable physical beast this entire season, drop her last log, step into the ocean, and just let her emotions unleash. This was really incredible TV in my opinion, and shows the quality of the spirit of the people who get cast on Survivor. I'm sure it has its detractors since it was a lengthy scene and involved players already eliminated from the game proper, but I found it to be the best Edge segment yet, and one of Survivor's most emotional moments in a very, very long time. And then it has an amazing payoff at the end of the episode when Tyson comments about the abundance of firewood. Perfection. Got nothing else for ya? Please consider bequeathing your fire tokens to the like and subscribe button, and I'll get you more Survivor content just like this. Until next time, don't get idled out.